Nobody in the market thought the young fruit vendor was a bad person. In fact, most people liked him. He worked hard. He spoke kindly. And he always seemed cheerful. But there was something he did whenever nobody was paying attention. Something so small that it hardly seemed important. Something he believed would never matter. Until the day it changed his life. This is that story. Many years ago, in a town surrounded by farms and orchards, there was a crowded fruit market. Every morning, vendors filled the streets with colorful baskets of mangoes, bananas, oranges, and apples. Among them was a young fruit vendor. He wasn't rich. He wasn't poor. He simply dreamed of growing his small stall into a successful business someday. Customers liked him. Farmers trusted him. And business was usually good. But the young vendor had one weakness. He hated losses. Whenever he bought fruit from farmers, he carefully sorted the baskets. The best fruits were displayed on top. The fruits with hidden bruises or small defects were often mixed underneath. Most customers never noticed. After all, the fruits looked fresh from the outside. Whenever guilt appeared, he would tell himself, "It's not a big lie. The fruit is still edible. Everyone in business does things like this." And so the habit continued. Day after day. Month after month. One evening, dark clouds covered the sky. Rain began falling heavily. The market emptied quickly. Most vendors packed their goods and rushed home. As the young vendor prepared to leave, he noticed someone sitting alone near a wall. A boy. Perhaps 18 years old. His clothes were soaked. His face looked tired. And his stomach growled loudly enough to be heard over the rain. The vendor walked closer. "Are you all right?" he asked. The boy lowered his head. He explained that he had traveled from another town hoping to find work. But somewhere along the journey, he had lost his money. He had not eaten all day. The vendor looked at the small basket beside him. Inside were the fruits he planned to take home. For a moment he hesitated. Then he handed the basket to the boy. "Eat." The boy stared at him. "All of it?" The vendor smiled. "You need it more than I do." The boy ate slowly, as if he wanted to make every bite last. Afterward, the vendor helped him find shelter for the night. The next morning, he introduced him to a workshop owner who needed an assistant. The boy's eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," he said. "I'll never forget this." The vendor laughed. It wasn't a big thing. Then they went their separate ways. And life moved on. Several months later, the town announced a grand harvest fair. Merchants from nearby cities would attend. The most trusted vendors would be offered valuable supply contracts. The young fruit vendor was excited. This could be the opportunity he had been waiting for. For days he prepared carefully. His stall looked beautiful. The fruits shined in the sunlight. Everything appeared perfect. On the morning of the fair, customers crowded around his stall. Business was booming. Then a merchant opened one of the baskets he had purchased. His smile disappeared. Several fruits hidden beneath the top layer were damaged. Another basket was checked. Then another. The same problem appeared. Word spread quickly through the market. Customers began inspecting their purchases more carefully. Soon everyone realized what had been happening. The vendor had been hiding damaged fruits beneath good ones. The contract disappeared. The opportunity vanished. And worst of all, the trust he had spent years building collapsed in a single day. That evening, he sat alone beside his empty stall. For the first time, he understood something important. Small shortcuts don't stay small forever. Eventually, they become large enough for everyone to see. The months that followed were difficult. Many customers stopped buying from him. Some walked past without even looking at his stall. The loss hurt. But the shame hurt more. This time, he didn't make excuses. He didn't blame bad luck. He didn't blame other people. Instead, he changed. From that day forward, every fruit he sold was carefully checked. If something wasn't good enough, he removed it. Even when it cost him money. Even when nobody was watching. Slowly, customers began returning. Not because he asked them to. But because they saw the difference. Trust returned one day at a time. 2 years passed. The fruit vendor worked hard. His business became stable again. Life felt normal. The harvest fair became a distant memory. The rainy evening with the hungry boy faded from his mind as well. Then one night, disaster struck. A fire broke out in a storage shed near the market. Several stalls were damaged. Including his. By morning, most of his fruit stock was ruined. The vendor stood silently, staring at the losses. His savings were limited. Replacing everything would be difficult. For the first time in years, fear returned. How would he recover? How would he keep his business alive? As he stood there, someone called his name. He turned around. A young man stood nearby. The face seemed familiar. But he couldn't place it. Then the young man smiled. It was raining that night. The vendor froze. Suddenly, the memory returned. The hungry boy. The basket of fruit. The workshop. The storm. His eyes widened. It was you. The young man nodded. The vendor was amazed. You've changed so much. The young man laughed. So have you. They sat together and talked. The vendor learned that after joining the workshop, the boy had worked harder than anyone else. Eventually, he had moved into the fruit supply business. Now he coordinated deliveries between farms and markets across the region. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't famous. But he had built a good life. Then he pointed toward a truck parked nearby. The truck was full of fresh fruit. The vendor looked confused. The young man handed him several documents. What is this? The young man smiled. A second chance. He explained that he had heard about the fire through market contacts. The moment he learned what happened, he came immediately. The truck contained enough fruit to refill the vendor's stall. And the payment? It could wait until after the fruits were sold. No pressure. No interest. No risk. The vendor stared at him speechlessly. Why would you do this for me? The young man smiled. Because when I had nothing, someone helped me. For a moment, neither spoke. Then the young man added quietly. Back then, you thought you gave me a basket of fruit. But what you really gave me was a chance. As the truck was unloaded, the vendor found himself thinking about the past. Years earlier, his own dishonesty had cost him a great opportunity. No one had done that to him. His own actions had. And now, years later, a simple act of kindness had returned when he needed it most. No magic. No miracle. Just consequences. One created by selfishness. The other created by kindness. Both returning in their own time. And suddenly he understood. Life had remembered both. That evening, the fruit vendor reopened his stall. The market looked the same as always. But he no longer saw it the same way. If we look closely at our own lives, most of us have moments just like this. Maybe not with a fruit stall. Maybe not with a market. But with small choices we make every day. Sometimes we take shortcuts because they seem harmless. Sometimes we help someone without expecting anything in return. At that moment, both actions may feel small. Too small to matter. Too small to change anything. But life has a strange way of remembering what we forget. The words we speak. The choices we make. The kindness we show. The shortcuts we justify. Everything leaves a mark. The fruit vendor learned that a single dishonest habit could destroy an opportunity he had dreamed about for years. But he also learned that a single act of kindness could return when he needed it most. Not because life is trying to reward or punish us, but because every action creates a path. And sooner or later, we walk into the path we created ourselves. So if you are working hard today and nobody notices, keep going. If you are choosing honesty when dishonesty seems easier, keep going. If you have helped someone and received nothing in return, keep going. Because not every seed grows overnight. Some take months. Some take years. But the seeds we plant today become the life we live tomorrow. And that is why karma never forgets. It simply waits for the right time to return what we have given.